Tyrese.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know we were starting with the ad read immediately. Basketball fans, it's that time of year again. The NBA is back. From opening tip-off to buzzer beaters, BetOnline has you covered with the best odds, biggest promotions, and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. This season, every game matters. BetOnline has every stat, matchup breakdown, and live odds to bet on during game. And it's not just the NBA. BetOnline has odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL to political props. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
The Knicks win 116-107. Pretty awesome fourth quarter comeback they had, or I guess second half comeback, I should say, third quarter comeback, really. They fall down 13, 70-57, comeback, win 116-107 again. Karl Anthony Towns, if you needed something to say, oh, that's why we traded for this guy, you got it tonight. This was his night. He finished with 44 points on 25 shots, 17 to 25 from the field. Crazy. 4 or 5 from 3, including the most no yes shot to basically close the game down with about a minute 45 left. He also had what, 2 assists, 13 rebounds. I thought generally was probably I thought he was fine defensively. I thought he was pretty solid, really, for the most part of this game. But he was fantastic. I mean, he dominated the game. He made Bam Adebayo. He was Roy Hibbert to Bam Adebayo's Tyson Chandler.
Right.
Wait, Tyrese, do you miss Julius Randle after his night?
No.
I know you missed. You were all summer. You were like, why did we trade him? So.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, this was a dominant performance. And honestly, I thought it was also the Knicks' best performance of the season in terms of their offense. Their flow was really, really good tonight. And I got to say, they go down 70-57 in the third quarter. By the way, I love that Mikal Bridges was just taking ridiculous threes today. He took 11 threes today, so he definitely got the memo. But they go down 70-57 at the start of the third quarter. They kind of look like they're fucking totally lost. And Tibbs calls a timeout. Their defense had been atrocious up until that point, especially the off-ball stuff. I don't know what the hell he said during that timeout, because after that point, they basically locked up Miami. Miami finished with 107 points. But yeah, they just come out.
You weren't watching the Yankees, Sean? Are you not a Yankee fan?
I still have it on, so I would say I'm a fan, but no, I did not end up turning off the Knicks game to focus on the Yankee game, which apparently maybe was a good idea since the Yankees decided to blow a 5-0 lead.
Freddie Freeman is a demon.
But
well, not let Irish be the judge of that, right?
The Knicks scored 37, or sorry, they allowed 37 points in the final 20 minutes of the game, 20 minutes and 20 seconds to be exact. Pretty good. They completely, they really locked it down after that. They only gave up 49 points in the second half, 22 in the third, 27 in the fourth. So yeah, this was, look, they've only played 4 games, but this is pretty easily their best win of the season.
Yeah, it was a win, not just on the court, obviously, but like off the court as well, because I feel like the process was a lot stronger than what we've seen from the Knicks so far this season. Like you said, Mikal Bridges took 11 threes this game, which is really good to see. He's been pretty hesitant with threes, and I feel like there was an emphasis on getting 3-point attempts up, which is really good to see. I think they took like 20 last game, around that, and now this game they took 40, which is ideally where you want to be. They took 82 shots in total, so about 50% of their shots were threes, which is really good. And I still feel like they could have taken some more. I feel like Brunson passed up a couple opportunities to take threes. I feel like Karl Anthony Towns especially passed up some opportunities to take threes, but he made 4, so you can't really complain about it.
Just keep taking. He takes 4 to 6 threes. He took 5 threes today. He keeps taking around 5 or 6 threes a game. I'm happy. He's got to take those threes. They're giving it to him. He's in the corner.
I wanted 10, but
I really do want 10. I'm not gonna lie. He can get higher.
What is KP's? He should be at KP's rate. He's the best big man 3-point. He should be KP.
Oh, you're talking about Cat. I was talking about Hart.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, Cat, he should probably take more than 5.
He took 4. He went 4 or 5. The good takeaway is like A, awesome to knock down 4 3-pointers. B, if you're 4 or 5, you probably should. I'd rather see you go 4 for 10, I guess, in a way. That probably helps the offense a little bit more. But yeah. Or ideally 8 for 10 if you just maintain that.
He's just
I'm
way more
complaining about
diverse as a scorer though than Porzingis, so he's just got a lot more. Like he likes to roll,
yeah.
He likes rolling, so he likes getting into the post like that. He's just a different type of scorer. And
But how was he at the elbow?
He was good, very good at the elbow today. I thought he definitely knew who he was at the elbow, so shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was just like a pretty satisfying win all around. OG Anunoby, he only took threes today. He took 3. He finished 3 of 6.
Thank God, by the way.
3 of 6 on the field. Yeah, no enough mid. I don't need the mid range work from OG.
Yeah, he had a strip on like a drive that I was like, but yeah, just get them up. Like he's not shooting well right now, but
he had a step back. That was great.
He had a step back, and it was actually like really clean and functional.
I hated that step back because I was just like, just shoot the fucking ball. This is a harder shot.
He also had Mikal to the side.
Yeah, but I thought their ball movement was good. I think there was a concerted effort to get Cat involved on pick and pop. Early in the game, they had a pick and pop. Brunson finds Cat, and then Cat swings it, and it goes to Mikal for a 3. So it's not just Cat getting those 3-point opportunities. It's just the gravity he has there. Like the amount of the distance that people have to rotate is more valuable. Not to say that he's not an effective threat rolling to the rim, but that opens it up. I still think the Knicks are struggling a little bit. Like when Brunson runs a pick and pop with Cat, his first instinct is not, oh, there's a guy there, let me pop it to him, right? Because he's used to that being Mitch or even Isaiah Hartenstein, where that's not like your ideal thing. You want to, like with his skill set, you want to play it out a little bit and work those two guys when they're paying attention to you. So I think that, but I think there was a concerted effort clearly to, and they started taking some, I'll say, irresponsible shots. I mean, when you were talking about Mikal taking 11 threes, some of those were a little irresponsible. I gotta say that. Some of those were movement, like, bro, you're not Ray Allen or Klay Thompson.
I don't know. He hit like
he hit one. He hit one of the
I just think he's got to take those shots. I think he's got to take those shots, and I want him taking those shots. I want him being aggressive. Like he missed like what? He missed probably 3 corner threes, spot ups that you would like
hope he makes.
Yeah, you would expect him to shoot a better percentage on that. I'm happy with how he's playing. Honestly, since that first half against Boston, where I have no fucking clue what was going on with them.
His free throws are still a little fucking weird, but
yeah, but he's been the Knicks' most like. He's like the one guy where it feels like every single game
he's been steady.
He just knows what he's doing. He's very comfortable with what he's doing. Brunson's still figuring it out. Cat, obviously, look, he a lot of it has to do with like they've got to look for him. And to the point that you were talking about with Stacey, that you mentioned about Brunson kind of needing to look for him when he pops out. Mikal set him up twice. When they ran a little like DHO pick and roll type action. He got into the paint, drew his defender, and then popped it back out to Cat. So I like what I'm seeing from him. And the final kind of frontier for Mikal is when Brunson goes off the court and he comes on, he needs to yell a campaign and tell him to get the fuck off the ball.
Pass the fucking ball.
Yeah, pass the fucking ball.
Give the ball to Deuce.
Yeah, enough. Like he's just trying to do way too much sometimes. He was much better in the second half campaign, gotta be said. He was very much more
He didn't shoot, that's why.
Yeah, he just was willing to get off the ball. So but yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Mikal Bridges. I thought his defense was pretty rough to start the game.
Yeah.
Again, in that second half, he was really good. Who did he block at the rim? Was that Hero? I don't know. It was like he completely baited him. I mean, that was a really, really good play.
Butler, I think.
Yeah, that was a really good play. I mean, he just kind of like enveloped him there. Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty impressed with his game today.
I'd say with the defense, like it seemed like there was guys not on the scouting report that hurt the Knicks a little bit, like Jovic,
Thomas Bryant.
Yeah, like the Knicks were not worried about these guys, and they made them pay a little bit.
Well,
I think they adapted in the second half.
I think that was also definitely a concerted kind of effort on Miami's part. They were definitely trying to target, like you saw when the Knicks ran with Brunson and Deuce in the first half, they just basically kept trying to attack those guys in the post, but whether it be Jovic or the Conquistador, Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Wait, isn't that Drew Steele? Friend of the pod.
Dude, what can I just say? Mike Breen tonight was so fucking annoying during this game. He had this entire thing in the first half. He wouldn't shut the fuck up about Drew Smith. It's like, oh, he's really got an impact on this game. I'm like, what the fuck are you watching? What impact is Drew Smith having on this fucking game, dude? Then he fucking jerked off to Pat Riley having the court named after him. Like, oh, he's been here 30 years. Read the room, pal. Nobody watching a fucking Knicks game on MSG wants to hear about how great Pat Riley is. Shut the fuck up.
Well, can I mention one thing? The Knicks have never lost to the Heat after Dwayne Wade got a statue. I just got to say that.
Good. And to find the other thing that him and Clyde were doing this game, there were like 4 or 5 plays where they were like, the Knicks got a bad call, and then they would be like, just a stupid play there. And then they showed the replay, and it's like, they did this with Cat, right? Cat got his like 4th foul, and they're like, oh, that's just a bad play. You can't take that there. You see the replay, he gets all ball. And it should have just been Knicks
Cat
ball.
got a bad whistle on both ends. He did. Yeah. Like, I'm not even trying to complain about the refs, but yeah, like Cat was a victim.
I just could not. I was like, can we, like, why are you watching the replay? Are you like, if you're watching the replay, it's okay to be like, that was a bad call. And then I don't know. Yeah, I honestly, the Knicks winning this game, I was really impressed because I didn't think they got a good whistle tonight. I thought they got the short end of the stick there. The fucking challenge that didn't get overturned was crazy.
With
like,
Hart, right?
I can't believe that. I don't know how that's not overturned. The Cat one I mentioned was ridiculous. That 5-second call at the end, what was that?
They called timeout. I was like, why are you calling this?
Yeah, like that was crazy. I don't know what was going on with that baseline of. Oh, and the other thing Breen did was he was like talking about this ref who like he's like, oh, his dad was an NBA ref. I'm like, dude, let me tell you something.
Who cares?
Yeah, nobody's inspired by fucking NBA refs, dude. Shut up. Get out of here.
And the Clyde's like, guys telling him, what are you still doing here, man? It's like, I've never cared about the story of an NBA ref before. You think I give a fuck about their journey? Put the calls in the bag, bro.
We got a super chat here. Thank you to Abdoulaye Diallo. Cat told Jimmy, I remember that stunt you pulled. Yeah, I mean, dude, Cat today. Wow.
Well, before the game, they kept asking about Jimmy, right? And he kept saying, I'm a Knick now. That's not a
years
thing
ago,
anymore.
by the way. Like, Jesus Christ, let it go.
It's literally 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
6 years ago. Why is this still like, why are you still asking him about it? Yeah. Like, dude, like, it also tells me the first time we play Philly, they're going to ask him about Embiid when Embiid's healthy. Oh, wait, Embiid's not healthy. My bad.
But I mean, this is why you trade for. I mean, look, it's the one concern I think a lot of people had was like you had a secondary creator in Julius. Is Cat the same guy, right? If Jalen Brunson is having an off night, Jalen Brunson finished the game strong, but Jalen Brunson has not been himself for the last couple of games. You have a guy that can get you that. That was what what Randall was, right? In many ways, Tyrese might disagree, but that was what a lot of people felt like we don't have anymore, right? Cat gave you that, and it's just the offense is so easy with him. I mean, they're still not tapping into it fully, but you can just, if the big is like a foot within the arc and Cat is a foot behind the arc, that's an open three for him, right? There's times where like, and they're always going to be a foot inside the arc with a step towards Jalen. There's many times I was like, Jalen, just give him the ball. That's another three. And they're still getting into it. I'm not saying Brunson is doing anything egregious, but the offense, he just gets so much easy offense in a way that I don't even like. Brunson is not that guy. It's still hard. He's great at that, but he just gets you easy offense, like trailing on the 3-point line. His passing, just being able to post up, that hook shot is money. Even, he struggled a little bit more with that tonight against Bam. And I think that we have to say, look, we're never going to say he's a great defender. He is a pretty significant upgrade on Julius Randle there. And you can say, well, Julius Randle was playing the 4, he's playing the 5, but we were going to ask Julius Randle to do that this year if we wanted to win. I don't think that's controversial to say. If we didn't make this trade, we were asking Julius Randle to do that. And, Cat showed that he can hold up well enough. Like, we don't need him to be Bam. We don't need him to be Rudy Gobert. We need him to be, Jokic maybe on defense. We We went like look at the Bulls before all their injuries when they had a healthy Lonzo and Caruso together. They were a top team.
Look at him!
And
Look at
they
him
had-
now on defense. Look at him now on defense, man.
Stopping the vaunted
So if
Orlando Magic offense.
They have the third best second half defensive rating in the NBA. Put some respect on Billy
third
Donovan's name.
best second half defensive rating in the NBA.
That is a deep cut.
Yeah.
But if the
Learn ball, Tyrese.
Mendoza line is Vucevic or even Jokic, Cat has been clearing that, or at least at that level.
All right, we got a couple super chats here. First, Brian Benjamin. Thank you for the super chat, Brian. What can we expect going forward from this game? More dominant Cat, higher volume threes, OG fading into the background, more JB assists. Tyrese, what do you think?
I just think better process overall. I think I just want to see more Cat threes. Like, I get it. Like, we took 43s today, but like, this team can realistically get to like 53s, like at least 45. I feel
If
like
he shooting
45
4 for 5, he should be taking more.
Yeah, like you could get to 45 threes fairly easily, I think. Like between McCall, I think Brunson being able to like Brunson took a couple midi pull-ups that like he did not need to pull up on at all. Like some of those were just threes that he decided to just dribble into, which I don't understand why. But I guess he's just still trying to figure it out.
I mean, do you think higher screens help there?
I think when you give Brunson higher screens with a 5-out offense, he just wants to get to the rim. I feel like that's been Brunson's thing is like Brunson takes threes out of necessity rather than like taking threes because he's good at them. And I feel like that's always been kind of Brunson's thing where it's like, dude, you're one of the best pull-up shooters in the world. Take threes. But he's like, oh, I'm just gonna get to the rim because I'm one-on-one with a weak ass defender, and I can get an easy layup. So that's kind of been his thing. I just want to see him and Cat really just take more threes, but like I'm being a stickler and I know it.
Yeah. I think Brunson's going to score more than he scored tonight, and obviously scored against Cleveland. He's still definitely, to me, looks like he's trying. It almost feels like he's consciously trying to score at times, or consciously trying to like set guys up. He's not just playing in the flow. I think that will come as he gets more and more reps with them. I did think his playmaking tonight I thought this was his best playmaking game of the season so far. He had 9 assists in this game, 22 points on 18 shots, 3-7 from 3. He's really close on some of these. I feel like he's had 4 or 5 and ones just like go in and out. So he's been really, really close. But yeah, I would expect more JB assists for sure. I think Cat will get more threes up as we go on, like we saw with McCall today. And OG, I mean, I don't know if you would call it fading into the background. I just feel like this is his role on the team. We need you to hit threes, and we need you to be an impact defender. And he's just got to get comfortable with that. Because last year, we talked about it, like especially during the playoffs when he was on. He kind of got a little bit more freedom to be a shot creator because they needed him to. They needed somebody to step up, obviously with Randall out and whatever. And I think that's just not what his role is going to be on this team because Brunson's going to be on higher usage. McCall's a better offensive player. He's a better ball handler for sure. And obviously Cat's a way better, superior offensive player. He doesn't get the rebounds and go coast to coast like Josh Hart, so he can't just kind of like impose himself on the game. And he's not like a super fluid or kind of, he doesn't really draw attention when he's driving to the rim like the way that Josh Hart does, right? So he's just got to get comfortable in that role. I was happy with what he did today. No, we touched on it right in the beginning. No, none of the mid-range bullshit that we're just like, dude, like, I mean, I don't mind him taking a couple mid-range shots, whatever, but it was just getting ridiculous where you're like, dude, just take a fucking 3. Like, you're fucking huge. Like, you can shoot over people. Give me a break. He saw Tyler Hero today and he got right. So good for him. Getting to another super chat here. This one is from Vivek for $32. Thank you so much, Vivek. The Carlito Town Show had a hunch we'd figure a few things out on the road. 76 points and 29 rebounds between Cat and Hart. Hart had another psychotic game. 43 point attempts. This is as a team. 43 point attempts, 30 assists, 90% free throw shooting, plus 2 on the boards, impact stats. Gotta say, the free throw shooting thing, it is so
Thank-
nice having a center that can shoot free
Thank
throws.
God. Thank God.
You don't miss Mitch.
Oh,
I think Mitch. If you had to make one free throw, give me Iguodala. Give me Mitch. If you make one free throw with put the game on the line.
Well, the thing is, Mitch. People don't know this, but Mitch has been working on his 3-point shot this offseason. So I think we're gonna get a whole new level from him as a shooter.
Evergreen tweet.
the only shots that Mitch needs to focus on are booster shots for his fucking backseat. Okay. I don't want to see Mitch shooting shit unless it's like guns in Louisiana on wildlife.
A dunk is a shot, Tyrese.
One thing I wanted to say with Cat, like I've watched Cat. I mean, we all watched Cat, obviously, prior to him coming to New York. I've watched him a lot. He's never been one of my favorite players. I've always kind of questioned how he carries himself during the course of games, his maturity level, how composed he can be. I gotta say, 4 games in, I'm like kind of blown away with how like he's just been kind of really focused, really, really professional. Not that he's like an unprofessional player, but there's just not a lot of like stupid shit he's doing really. Like he took one atrocious shot today in the second half where he like got a post up and he just was not going to pass it out. He took this weird ass like one-handed turnaround over Bam right on the baseline. It was a terrible shot. He had Brunson for an easy kick out, didn't make it. But I just like his decision making so far. I think he's making smart decisions, and you know, obviously the fact that you go 17-25 from the field doesn't hurt. But yeah, I was super happy with how he's approached things so far in his time in New York.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like the process is a lot cleaner. It's nice to see him pass, like he gets the ball in the post, realizes this shit isn't gonna work, and then like passes it out for the most part.
Not the Julius way.
Yeah,
very few bad. I remember all of his bad decisions, which are like 3 this season. So that's pretty good. You know,
like his turnovers are usually just like offensive screens. Like I just feel like he's way more active. Like he's trying way more than Julius would try. Like Julius would not get an offensive fucking foul for screening twice in a game.
I don't know if I would go that far.
No, he would, but it would be on a dribble handoff where he like turns into
and just shoulder checks the dude.
Oh yeah. It's I think with Cat, it's also he just has more margin for error, right? If Julius was just 6'10" and 7'3" wingspan and could shoot like that, if he was the same player, that matters a lot, right? Like Cat has that margin for error. He can try when he wants to. You know, it's just I do think he's been more engaged on defense. He's just more impactful though. Like, you know, on defense, are there those possessions where you're like, Cat,
please backpedal, please.
Backpedal is a work in progress, but I'm just talking about putting your hand up when a shot's there, right? We knew about Julius's limitations. I think the most frustrating thing for a lot of us was he wouldn't put his hand up. He wouldn't get over on a rotation. I haven't seen Cat miss too many rotations. I have seen him not put his hand up, but that's few and far between. He does have the same tendency where he doesn't get a foul call. He has gotten a rough whistle this year. He doesn't get a foul call, and Cat is the kind of guy that just gets fouled every time he arrives. You know, he'll complain and won't get back, but it's also just he just has so much more margin for error there. The thing with Julius is not that those were make or break things necessarily, but you're a 33% 3-point shooter. You're not the most efficient guy, and you're not Jokic as a passer. I think Cat is actually a way better passer than Julius in terms of, you know, maybe the raw assist totals won't show it, but in terms of seeing and not having to jump pass or rely on, now I need to bail out myself, like just making that pass. Terry, sir, you're going to say something on that, but yeah.
No, I was just saying, like, I think his passes just feel like a lot more fluid is the best way to put it. Like, I feel like Julius will like force passes and like they'll get there. And Julius has like one read. It's I drive into paint, I either dump off to big or I kick to corner.
And that
put
big
up
is
that
often
shot.
Mitchell Robinson. I mean, how many times do we see him throw to Mitchell Robinson and Mitchell Robinson can't catch it because A, Mitchell Robinson doesn't have great hands, and B, Julius throws everything 1,000 miles per hour, right? Like,
Yeah, like you see Cat legitimately running like actions at the top of the key where it's like somebody's like looping around him. Like he's trying to do things where like he's skip passing to the corner, he's skip passing in the inverted pick and rolls. You don't see Julius normally doing that stuff because like Julius can't make those reads. So like the fact that Cat can like make those moves makes him such a good passer. So
Yep. We got another super chat that's from HB Greg for $2. Thank you, HB Greg. Wow, the legend Stacy is here. Thank you. Plus, no more Sims. I agree. No more Sims. Sims.
you don't agree on the legend Stacey is here?
No, I definitely don't agree with that. I fucking hate that you're here. Actually, this is supposed to be my time with Tyrese. All right, and you're intruding on our time to shit on the Knicks together, and Julius Randle. But no, like the Sims thing is just we know what it is. Like he clearly doesn't trust him, but I guess he's not all the way there with Huckporty yet, and he obviously can't play Cat the entire way. So you're just going to have to we're just gonna have to deal with like Sims intermittently being involved. He played 9 minutes tonight. So if you want to know what he thinks about Jericho Sims, that should tell you right there. Doesn't think much of him. But yeah, like it's frustrating, but it is what it is. We really miss Precious. Precious, I think, not only can he play the backup five, I think Tibbs would definitely use him next to Cat, and that's not something I don't think he's used Cat next to Sims even once, right?
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, that sucks, but
no.
hopefully Precious is on the closer. Wait, it was 2 to 4 weeks.
Well, I mean, you mentioned this on our last pod. He did play. He gave Huckporty more minutes than Sims last game in a close game. They had a chance of winning, and it was weird to see him go away from that tonight. I don't know if it was the idea that Bam is more mobile and smaller.
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been that. Even Bryant, right? Bryant's trying to like pop out to three. He's not.
Yeah,
really...
they're 6'9" guys. They're not. Which maybe Huckporty. We don't watch practice, right? So we don't know if Huckporty does struggle maybe more in those kind of situations versus a guy like Allen, where it's going to be interior, and Allen versus Sims is just a horrible matchup. I think I'm still optimistic the trend is towards Huckporty because I think he's pretty mobile. He probably just is making more mistakes. Like the things you have to account for when you're on it's not just being mobile, right? We reduce it to that, but you just have to account for more things mentally when you're on the perimeter, and it's a bigger space, right? And for a rookie, that's tough. Even someone who's played in many years as professional and is older. So I think that I would be optimistic that at some point, when Precious comes back, maybe neither of them play, and it's probably for the best. But Huckporty being over Sims in the hierarchy to me seems like more a matter of when than if, and I think that when is this season. It might take Tibbs longer than we'd like. He waited a long time to play Grimes over Fournier, which was at the time a pretty obvious decision, and he never went to IQ over Fournier really, but he gets there, and I think that with what Porty has shown, you'll probably see that happen. I'll also add, I don't think Sims was that bad. I don't think he's been bad. I just think Porty's been better.
I think his first half stint was really bad.
Yeah, because it's just the mistakes he makes stand out so much. Like he runs into Josh Hart on a rebound, tries to dunk.
What the fuck was that? Oh my god!
Tries to dunk something he has no chance on, just missed times completely. But he's a pretty good defensive rebounder. He's generally in the right place.
I don't think he's a good. I don't think he's
a bad defensive rebounder. He doesn't box out.
He's a good offensive rebounder, but he's a bad defensive.
I thought he
rebounder.
did a pretty good job on defensive glass today.
He's also facing 6'9" dudes.
Yeah, I think that's more a function of who we're playing. I don't like him against Cleveland.
Like he sucked against Cleveland because he just could not do anything against their bigs.
That's why. But to that point, Tibbs took him out, right? So
yeah.
No, I mean, look, I think you're right. I do think at some point, and we got to be realistic too. Like when Precious comes back, he's going to be ahead of Sims and Hukporty. Like no matter who is on top between, or well, okay, no matter who is higher in the pecking order between Precious and Sims, Sims and Hukporty. Precious is going to finish. He's going to finish it, or he'll be.
The question is, will that be excuse for Tibbs to play Precious or Sims with Precious, right?
I hope not.
And I wonder, does this come back to a Pacom Dadier question? No,
I don't think. I think he clearly does not believe Pacom Dadier is ready, and that's fine. I will accept his evaluation. I think he's earned that benefit of the doubt. The fact that he played Hukporty serious minutes against Cleveland shows me that he's not. It's not automatically like I'm not playing this guy because he's a rookie. That's not what it is. He just doesn't think he's ready. That's why he's not playing Kolek. I'll read this comment. This is from Kid Caro. Thank you for the super chat for $10. I'm sorry, but I can't keep watching Sims in pain. Hukporty until Precious is back. Mix in some Kolek and Dadier minutes too. Let them use this time to develop. They offer more to the bench anyway. Agree with Hukporty because I also think he's ready to play. He doesn't look out of place. The speed of the game has not been crazy or anything with him. I don't think Kolek has. I didn't think he looked that comfortable even when he came in garbage time against Indiana. And then I also don't. I mean, Dadier looked fine, but he barely played, right? He barely played that first game against Boston. And then he hasn't played any real time after that. He's 18. Like he's really young. He's the third youngest player in the league. I think it's okay if Tibbs is just kind of like holding him back for now. Even if it's annoying for us as fans. I do like this is not sustainable. They do need another guy. One thing you were mentioning about Precious and Sims, I think the main thing that Precious gives you is he is good enough and he's mobile enough and he's versatile enough. Tibbs will definitely use him and Cat together. He will use those guys together in a front court in certain matchups or as part of the rotation. I'm not worried about that at all. He used Randall with Precious last year, if you remember, before Randall got hurt. So I don't see any reason to doubt that he'll play those guys together. And that's where I just think Sims is out. So your rotation probably will end up being Precious in place of Sims. Payne's going to stay in the rotation. It just is what it is. And Deuce obviously is going to be in the rotation. It's about finding that ninth guy, which I guess they're maybe working on, be it Matt Ryan or Landry Shaman at some point this season. He just doesn't trust Dadier or Kolek for that matter. And, I also just like he's earned the benefit of the doubt to make these calls. Like he's been a good enough coach, obviously, over an extended period of time. And this isn't like his first year, right? Where you're like, why the fuck is Elfrid Payton starting over Emmanuel quickly? How does this help anybody? This second year, right? We're like, why is Fournier still starting? Why is Burke still starting? This is not that type of situation. I don't think Tyler Kolek's going to come in and be a plus rotation player like Emmanuel quickly was as a rookie. I don't think Dadier is going to come in and do that and give you like a versatile 3-and-D option prior to believing that you're actually a dynamic on-ball creator like Quentin Grimes did. So I'm okay with that call, but hopefully at some point maybe they earn his trust with how they perform in practice and we'll see it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like how JL says he hasn't been bad on defense. Like Payne's been like solid on defense, I want to say. I feel like his on-ball defense has been really good. His off-ball defense, he falls asleep. He falls asleep all the fucking time. Like a lot of the threes that got up in the second quarter, which is because like campaign missed rotations. But his on-ball defense
blocked Butler, by the way. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how the fuck are you clamping? Like he clamped Mathurin a couple of games ago. He clamped.
He's just weird, man. He's like he locked up somebody at one point during our series against them last year against Philly. I forgot who it was, but it was just like, what? Why is that?
I know. It's strange, but it's like, why don't you just put like half of that effort into your offensive process? Just like Jesus Christ, dude. Like he hasn't even been like bad offensively. It's just been like 2 games that really like brings it down. But like,
what is going on with this Heat team? Like I've like seen glimpses of their games.
Don't get me started, bro.
What is going on with this team? Like
They're not good. They're not good.
Well, not just that, but like Butler didn't do anything for like 2 quarters, And then Bam, dude, whatever. I know
the vibes are weird. The vibe, like,
something is off there. Something is off.
They're a sneaky, like a really bad vibe team
I
because
think the Butler thing is probably bad. That's what I think.
yeah, like he wants to get paid. He's not getting paid. And he's like, why the fuck am I going to try if I'm not going to get paid? Like, if I get hurt, that's it.
JL says Payne honestly hasn't been bad on defense. It's probably the biggest reason he's over Kolek. I concur. And Nick Tape, or pal Luca, says Josh had 11 more rebounds than Bam tonight. Yeah, no, I agree with you. The vibes just it looked.
The vibes are bad. Like, their backcourt makes no sense. They're trying this Jovic thing, and it's like, I mean, like, Jovic's fine, but it's like you clearly tell like they wish they could start Jaquez, but Jaquez can't shoot. Bam is like trying to shoot, which credit to him. Finally, it took you like 8 fucking years to learn how to try to shoot, but like he can't hit threes. Like, that entire team just feels like a hodgepodge of like talented dudes, and like Spoelstra's trying his best to stick that shit together with like thumbtacks and glue.
The Butler thing is clear. I don't know, man. He played like such a
dick.
I thought, yeah, he just played like a dick today, man. Like the first 2 quarters, I legit don't know what he was doing. He was just like out there, kind of getting cardio.
He's played like a dick the entire season.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. I think he'll get traded.
I think he's absolutely getting traded because like he wants to get paid. Like, clearly his main motivation is wanting to get paid, and the fact that like Riley hasn't paid him yet, it's like he's not gonna get paid, and I don't know who's gonna want him.
Do you think the funniest possible outcome is him getting traded to like the Clippers or something?
Yes. Yes.
Him and Harden together.
I'm interested to see what like former All-Star the Clippers trade for, because it's gonna be so fucking funny. I can't wait.
He's just not a good star offensive player at this point, because he won't shoot threes, and he's clearly not like as good as he was at just getting to the line and creating. Like, yeah, sure, maybe some of this is like him quitting on them, but he wasn't really good at the end of last year too. And like, I don't know, like he's old, man. What is he, 36? He's played 35. A lot of 35, and he's played he's played a lot of minutes. He's played for our favorite coach, Tom Thibodeau, for a long time. Like, he's just got a lot of miles on him, and the way he plays too, right? He's never been a volume 3-point shooter at all. He very much relies on driving, getting into the paint and drawing fouls, drawing contact. I don't know. I don't know. It did not look good today. Bam looks checked out. I feel like he's just annoyed that he still has to play the 5, because he's been bitching about that for a while, right?
He doesn't want to play the. It's like, dude, you're not a 4 because you can't shoot.
He could. There's one center I know he could play the 4 next to. Karl Anthony Towns.
I mean, what the fuck are we gonna trade for him?
Just saying, it could happen.
Also, low key, we have not talked about Josh Hart yet, and like that's insane
awesome
to me, because like Josh Hart was fucking incredible. I'm so glad he's shooting threes. I don't give a fuck if he goes 0 for 5. Like, thank God he's shooting threes.
Just keep shooting every 3. I don't know what turned on for him in that Indiana game, but in the Indiana game, he was like, "All right, fuck it, I'm just gonna shoot these." And I was like, "Yes, this is the point. This is what we've been telling you for so long, Josh. Just take these fucking open threes." He was awesome tonight.
His process has been like the turnovers on like transition opportunities fucking suck. Other than that, his process has been great.
Shout out to Mikal for his fucking up of 2 3-on-1 fast breaks today. That was pretty cool.
Whatever CTE Josh had, Mikal took it today. But like the problem with the Knicks is like one person at all times on the court has CTE, and it's usually Josh. But then sometimes Josh will like transmit it to other people.
Yeah, Brunson had it for like a while today.
Brunson had it in the first half, and then like McCall got it, and then like they were fine in the second half.
Campaign always has it.
Yeah.
Jericho Sims.
Jericho Sims just has like. Oh yeah, Jericho Sims.
But,
I feel like Jericho Sims just like it's just going
he's just bad
in the head all the time. But like, yeah, Josh Hart has been incredible. I do think like part of the rationale for them being okay with trading Randall was because like from when Randall got hurt until
they know Hart can come in and swoop in and grab all those loose balls.
Yeah,
and it's more valuable because he's actually going to go coast to coast, and he does it in a way that you're not like, please don't turn the ball over, please don't turn the ball over, please. Even though he does turn the ball over, but we all know what I'm talking about.
Like
It's
legitimate.
the stuff you live with. It was the same thing with Dante. So
Yeah, like the thing with Josh is like he does a lot of the triple double stuff, which like Randall is usually like valued for. It's like, but he does it way more additively next to Brunson. And if he's just gonna like take shots and make shots, then he becomes a significantly more additive piece. And it's like, I just hope like if he could just shoot averagely, that's huge. Because he draws free throws, he rebounds like a fucking demon. Like he's averaging 10 rebounds in the season.
I mean, is it weird to you guys that Josh is just when he takes an open three, catch and shoot, I'm like, it's not going in. And when he takes a step back,
That was so funny. I knew that was
so
going
fun. I know. I know.
That's not a one-time thing. It happens all the time.
It was. I knew it was like as soon as he started, I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is good. This is great." Every time he takes a corner three off the catch, I'm like, probably not.
You could tell it's like,
you could have
probably
15 feet of space. He misses, but he has a step back on fucking Bam or something or Jared Allen, and it goes in. Like
he's just. I will say, like, I totally understand the argument that people are making of like, well, we should start Deuce over him because the spacing and blah blah blah. And I still think like that lineup, with Deuce in place of him, should be something that we use throughout the season. What I will always continue, like I just think people undervalued the rebounding element. Like he's a really, really special defensive rebounder, and he's physical in a way that Bridges isn't. That OG isn't. I mean,
OG doesn't like to do.
I would push back on it. Well, I think
he's physical. He's physical, but Hart is like a fucking bull in a china shop. Yeah,
I think OG's a better defensive rebounder than Hart.
No shot.
I think he's a really good
when OG tries to defensive rebound.
Yeah, but you can't be like
But OG also has to do so much else. He's also our best.
But he's never been a good defensive rebounder. But he's never been like Hart. Hart is an elite. Hart is an elite defensive rebounder. Like
he focuses more on that.
Like that's a skill.
Focus is not a skill.
Yes, it is. How is focus not a skill?
Because OG he's not focusing because he doesn't give a fuck.
OG played the fucking Raptors, who had like the most god mode defenders, and was not a good defensive rebounder on that team. And they didn't even have a center gobbling up rebounds. They had fucking like Chris Boucher and like
Siakam was their center.
Yeah, Siakam.
They had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had
I'm saying before that, he's not even in the same ballpark as a rebounder as Josh Hart.
I really disagree because he's looked really good.
There's literally not a single numerical argument you can make here.
And there's not a numerical argument. I'm just saying, like, watching the guy, he boxes out. Like, when he's asked to do that,
he could do it. He just doesn't do it.
So that matters.
There's a difference between Randall can do it, right? For example, he just will not for whatever reason. OG is not that. OG is like, I am closing out and fucking switching and guarding the guy shooting most of the time.
If you tell OG to get like 10 rebounds,
that's different. Yeah, like if you just told him like we don't have to worry about that as much, or you have to shift your he can it's kind of the like Hart is not asked to do as much as a perimeter defender as OG. I think that has to be part of the equation there. That said, I think Schwinn's overall point that Hart is a great defensive rebounder shouldn't be lost there.
I don't care if OG he's doing more. There's no fucking
dude. He's asked to do everything.
Congratulations. That's why he's
no. That's not a congratulations.
He's getting paid $212.5 million to do what he's doing. He is not in the league.
He transformed the team.
He has never.
They went 20-3 with him.
What the fuck does that have to do with defensive rebounding? What does that have to do?
Because you can see how much else he's asked to do.
That it has
and how important that is.
Dude, he has never in his career showed out as a defensive rebounder. Never. Not at Indiana.
Because you'd rather have him switching out on dudes or guarding the shot.
You're acting like Josh Hart is like being hidden in the corner. And we're like not giving like Josh Hart is not Jalen Brunson, dude. But
he's not OG Anunoby.
He was on Rozier in the fourth quarter today, right? Like he was on Rozier. He was on Euro.
I'm sorry. He was on. That involves the whole argument.
Well, I mean, who was OG on? Butler.
But when Rozier drives by him, which generally happens in this defense, yeah, he's not contesting.
Yeah, but the point is, you're acting.
He's
like
not
Josh
the guy.
Hart. You are acting like Josh Hart is just some fucking bystander.
No, I'm not. I'm saying
you're like he doesn't do.
Okay, let me clarify. Can I clarify? OG. What I'm saying is OG is responsible on this defense, my opinion, for every person with the ball and his guy. I think they have an insane
He
amount.
hasn't even been fucking defending the ball today. He's
No,
being
that's
used
my
as a
point. But
responsible
he
defender.
has to be worried about who has the ball. He is in a level that nobody else in the team is. He has to do all those things, and he's been a pretty damn good defensive rebounder at the 4, better than I think most of us.
I mean, he's fine. Like he's not like I'm not sitting around saying.
I mean, can you point out where he has missed a box out or where he's gotten beat for?
I mean, I guarantee he's missed box outs. Like I know that I watched games and been like, oh, I missed one there. I'm not like a crisis point with it. I'm not like, oh my god, this is a huge liability. But part of the reason this is not a liability is because you need to have somebody come in and swoop up these.
I agree with your overall assessment of Hart's value. What I'm saying is you're underrating just how hard it is to do everything OG does on defense and rebound. That's why that's kind of a big thing because they do ask a lot of. He is their most important, especially with Mitch out. He is their most important defensive player, and by that I mean he's responsible for everything that's going on.
I totally agree with that. I still do not think that if he had a freer, like last year, he had a freer role defensively because Tibbs trusted our centers defensively. So
he's also playing the wing more. But
yeah, but like he didn't sniff the rebounding numbers even when Randall was out. That Hart did. Hart is like
Hart played with him a lot.
Hart is a special rebounder, man. Like this is not even there's no world where they're even in the same like tier of rebounding.
I think Hart has a nose for the ball, but I also think in terms of boxing out, in terms of doing those things, like
he's good at it. He's fine. He's fine. Yeah,
and he's longer and girthier.
Yeah, but he can't jump. Okay, but he can't jump like Hart. Like he just doesn't get those 50-50 insane rebounds.
He doesn't see the ball.
No, he does. He does. That's also right. He's first of all, like when those poke away things happen, when the ball gets poked away, OG gets those like 90% of the time. So
what does this have to do with defensive rebounding?
But I'm saying it's kind of on the same. It's in the same ballpark.
I feel like this is a live Strickland recording. This is great.
It's in the same ballpark where like he'll get those balls because he has big hands, and
Josh Hart's had like a 20 rebound game.
It's not to say that Josh Hart doesn't, because Josh Hart allows OG to focus on those things, which that is my point. Is like let's not diminish what OG is doing.
I'm not diminishing. I don't think saying Josh Hart is clearly a better defensive rebounder diminishes OG. And I think Josh Hart
you're missing
is a better defensive rebounder than Julius Randle. I think Josh Hart is probably the best. I think he's probably the best defensive. He's probably the best defensive rebounding guard, wing, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in the league. He's the best one. There's not a fucking wing that is better than him.
I guess maybe.
No. Caruso doesn't rebound.
I don't know if you. I'm sure Tyrese remembers this game because it was a bad RJ Barrett game. Do you remember that game?
Yes.
We played Portland at the Garden.
Yes.
And Hart literally had like 18 rebounds.
He had 19 rebounds.
It was ridiculous.
Before he fouled out.
Like he can win you games with his rebounding. OG Anunoby can win you games doing a lot of things.
Not with his rebounding.
Rebounding is not the thing that's like, oh, this is how he wins this game. Josh Hart literally wins you games by getting.
Josh Hart won us game 4 in Philadelphia with his rebounds.
Yeah, that was crazy because nobody could make a shot other than Brunson.
Yeah, he went 0 for 7, had like 14 rebounds.
Have we talked about Brunson yet tonight?
No, it was like the most boring Brunson game.
Yeah, it was really bland. Like,
well, he's had 2 games in a row where it's like, this was the 5-out was supposed to open up Brunson. I'm not worried because this guy has come back from everything that's ever been thrown at him. But it's probably a reason not for optimism because we haven't gotten Brunson unlocked yet, right?
He's having his 21-22 Randall moment. It's fine.
Wow, that's way farther than I would have gone.
I'm joking.
I'm just like anytime
I would not be fine, Tyrese.
He doesn't start seasons well. Brunson never starts seasons well. He has not started a season well in his first 2 years in New York. I don't really.
He's also like, new dad.
And he didn't have a bad game today. He had 22.
He just missed a bunch of bunnies.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say though, his defense, and it wasn't just him, man. Deuce got. I don't know what was going on in the first half. Deuce came in and immediately was just like, what if I just do nothing on defense? Bold choice, but yeah, I thought Brunson, I thought Hart at various points, Bridges, and Deuce, those 4 in particular, I thought they were just like little space cadet off ball on defense. And that burned them in the in the first half and then a little bit at the start of the third quarter. But they all kind of like, again, I don't know what the hell Tibbs said to them in that timeout at 70-57, trailing by 13. But it must have been a damn good speech.
He said, "I'll take all your podcast equipment," and Josh was like, "No."
Yeah, I'll take away your mic and Nikes. No, all right, guys, let's lock in right now.
But he also,
Yeah.
I mean, how much of it do you think was just Brunson? So it sounds like you're saying, it just takes him, like, he takes a lot of tough shots. That takes rhythm to get into making those. That, to me, felt like a lot of it. Like, even that midi that you said, Tyrese, that he shouldn't have taken. I actually agree with you. But my problems with that were, like, one, if you set the screen higher, then that's a 3. If he just kicks it out to Cat, that's an open 3. But also that's an open midi for Jalen Brunson. Like, that's a shot we usually like. Schwinn, it seems like you're saying it's just he's missing shots he normally hits, or how much do you think it's just adapting to Cat?
I think he's adapting. It's fine. I'm not that worried about it. This is like a totally different team. He's also trying to get Mikal Bridges going. You can see that, like, very consciously, like they're trying to kind of
integrate new faces.
Yeah, integrate him, and they're really like they're scorers, not just shooters, right? This is not like Dante, like, oh, great, Dante's here. Go space out at 28 feet, and I'll throw you the ball at some point, and you're just shoot the fucking shit out of it. Like, these are different players. They're more versatile. They can be used on ball, and they can put the ball on the deck and make plays, right? Like, in a way that really nobody other than Randall that he's played with could. I mean, I guess Quickly and RJ, whatever, but I don't want to get into those semantics. I'm just saying from last year's
I mean,
team.
I liked Quickly in his role, but
yeah, but I mean, looking at the team from the end of last year to now, like, think about it. In the playoffs, we all talked about it where we're like, wow, if Brunson doesn't create, we don't really do anything on offense. Now, all of a sudden, you're playing with guys that they don't need to be spoon-fed open looks all the time, right? Like, Cat got a switch today at one point in the first quarter or the first half, and Brunson, like, I think he was like waiting for him to get more open, and then he kind of realized, like, oh, no, I can just give him the ball.
Well, wouldn't you say the same thing existed with Randall?
No, because him and Randall had zero chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, and very specifically,
but he would feed Randall in the post, or
he
didn't want to mismatch
to make him happy.
Yeah, they didn't run a pick and roll, and then Randall would take that in the post, right? If they ran a pick and roll, Randall would slip the screen, and then just stand at the elbow with his hand up. Like, we all know that happened 500 billion times. So, Cat's different. Cat's actually trying to play Cat's
playing like a center.
Yeah, well, we did this with Hartenstein, right? We're like, oh wow, him and Brunson have such a good like chemistry, 2-man chemistry. Cat is like Hartenstein on fucking steroids on offense. Like, he's so much more potent, but he gives you that element of like, oh, like he can set a screen.
He's also really black, instead of that poser fucking Hartenstein.
Oh, well, also that. But yes, I just think that like it's a totally different dynamic, and Brunson's adjusting to that. I mean, like, you can even say, well, he played 5 out in Dallas. Is like, why can't he do it here? I would say that the 5 out in Dallas was with Porzingis, who is just a totally different scorer profile than Cat, even though both of them, yes, they can shoot threes. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he was playing with a guy named Luka Doncic. That helps, right? So,
does he really help? I'm not sure.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah, Luka wouldn't do anything for Brunson, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like, I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying that there's a continuity and like there's another creator there, right? The thing is, like, the Brunson's biggest problem with getting threes is that he is the guy, right? So they're never gonna leave him open.
Yeah, yeah. And they kept commenting on the game, where they're like, "Oh my god, they're showing so many bodies of Brunson when he puts the ball on the floor or wherever he goes." I just think he was like, I thought he was being kind of tentative at the start of the game. Where, look, he shot too much against Cleveland, and I think he was like conscious of that. So he almost overcorrected and was like really, really trying not to shoot. And then there were moments where he realized, like, okay, I gotta try to score here. But then because he was like in this weird kind of thought process, it felt like he was not taking good shots or was not in rhythm. And in the second half, like, I just think he got to the line pretty early, and I think that kind of like settled him down a little bit, because he played a lot smarter than that, or played a lot smarter after that. Getting a couple catch and shoot threes helps the cause for sure. Still would just like, dude, just take more pull-ups. Like your pull-up three is a legit weapon. Utilize it more. But yeah, I'm not too worried about overall. This is how we started last year. Remember he had that game against like he literally could not make a shot inside the arc just at the beginning of last year. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it because I think he just starts seasons badly.
Yeah, he's not in the gym. He's not locked in. He's not serious. He was filming all those commercials.
He had the broken hand, right? So that probably cut in a little bit.
Didn't stop him from going to SmackDown. He wasn't locked in.
Well, you saw he had a tough time picking up that chair.
Yeah.
Not
if he was healthy, he would have beat Tyrese Halliburton with that chair.
Not my captain. My captain would have swung.
I think that so the Knicks are 2-2 overall. I don't know about you guys, but with Precious going out, Mitch being out, if you told me they were going to go 2-2 through the stretch right now, with the team still figuring everything out, I would have been fine with that. I don't know about how you guys feel about that.
I would just like to be in Boston, but like that's fine.
No, I mean, if you told me this is how you beat Indiana, you beat the shit out of Indiana. I mean, these two games were kind of toss-ups, Miami and Cleveland. We really could be 3-1. I mean, I think Cleveland they really fell apart down the stretch. That's pretty encouraging.
I feel like you kind of felt the idea was if you beat Cleveland, you lose to the Heat. If you beat the Heat, you lose to Cleveland. So that's kind of how I felt about it going to these last two games.
Yeah, I mean, the Cleveland game to me, it's like look, they just smoked. I mean, they absolutely destroyed the Lakers today. Who I don't know if you guys know this, but JJ Redick is basically the smartest man.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how JJ Redick's actually like legitimately neurotic, and like I did not realize it until now.
Did you know that he was, Baron Davis saw him at the car wash and he was studying film? I was like, why are you studying film at the car wash?
I believe it.
I don't believe it. That just seems fucking stupid. I'm like, what are you doing with like just go get a car wash, man. Nobody needs to hear about you're fucking locked into Austin Rivers pick and roll tape there. Austin Reeves.
That's crazy.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah. But yeah, I just I will also say, like, I think there are people kind of worried about the minutes. I understand that. I also think you got to understand, like, he's really trying to like get specific groups to gel, which requires time on the floor. Like Cat also got here a week into training camp, so you're still a little bit behind. We see in every game there's like a 3 or 4 minute stretch where they're like have no idea what they're doing on offense and they just can't score. But like, that bench unit, right, with where it's like Payne, Deuce, McCall, Cat, and one of OG or Hart, like that group has really struggled to kind of figure out how they
had a great stretch with the bench today. I think it was Payne
in the second half. Yeah. And I was that's what I was saying. Like the first half, I didn't think they played well at all. I thought they were really poor for a while. And then in the second half, when that unit came in, I just thought they got a lot better shots.
It seemed like they were more Cat centric at that point, which I think is a good thing for that unit.
Yeah. I think they're trying to figure out the hierarchy of that kind of non-Brunson alignment. And that'll take time and it takes minutes and it is what it is. But, even today, as crazy it was, Mikal Bridges played 40 minutes. Mikal Bridges is like a mutant who, I mean, knock on wood, he's never missed a game in his career. So I don't know what you do with that, what you will. OG played 37. He's the one I'd be like the most kind of like
concerned with.
Yeah, just because I don't want him. I would just be trying to keep it at 34 with OG. Towns played 39 tonight, which to me is more about the fact that Jericho Sims sucks and Tibbs doesn't trust him. I don't really know what you want.
Huck Porty.
Yeah, I mean, and look, we can say just play Huck Porty, and we don't. I mean, Huck Porty's a rookie. He could be a good rookie and still be a bad NBA player for this season. That's how that works. So, like, I don't know that that's 100% guaranteed to work either. So, just I think if the minutes are still like this, 15 games in or something, then I think it's very valid to be concerned about it. 4 games in, and then including one. First of all, the first game they basically didn't play after the third quarter. The second game you had 2 days off between games. Third game you had 2 days off before games. Like you are not. They're not. These guys are not like in the red line. Like they're not like putting them into overdrive here. So just give it some time. I think he'll dial it back, especially for like OG and Cat specifically. I think those guys will play less as we go.
I will say though, I do like the fact that he's actually been like multiple sections of like in a quarter, he'll take guys out multiple times, which is like for Tibbs, this is like a revelation. Like he'll take Cat out early, then he'll bring Cat back in, and then he'll take him out again before the first quarter ends. And I'm like, holy shit, did they put like a fucking mutant in your brain? Because you never do this.
They're actually staggering. That's a pretty big deal.
I feel like they had to tell Tibbs to stagger, and he was like, no.
What? What do you mean stagger?
What is stagger?
I think he's evolved as a coach, right? I think.
Yeah, no, he definitely has.
Yeah, but like staggering, like that's Jesus. Okay, Tibbs.
I mean, there's a lot of coaches. I mean, Billy Donovan didn't stagger with Westbrook and fucking KD on his team. It took him a while to get there too, right? So
I think he just kind of realized like they need help. Like either you need creation from Brunson or spacing from Cat, and it's like for Tom Thibodeau, I will take baby steps. I take baby steps from Tom Thibodeau because it took a while to get him there, but he's gotten there.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about before we get out of here? HB Greg says Tim said he's going to play Randall to 5. You doing anything Leon Rose want?
Bro, he was lying his ass off that entire interview. He fucking knew he wasn't doing that shit.
Well, I mean, that's the comp, though, right? Like, even on defense, it's from like somebody who are like, I don't love him at the 5, to somebody's like, no, we're just going to be bad on defense, right? Like, that's the difference. And I think that is something that showed up. Like, Cat has been active. Maybe he hasn't been active his whole career, but even when you're not active and you're 6'10" and actually center sized, it's a palpable difference, especially when you do all the things that Cat can do on the offensive end.
Yeah.
Omar, I did not say that Hart and OG are mutually exclusive. I said that OG gets a bad rap for his rebounding because he's asked to do a lot. I actually think it's good that Hart can focus on rebounding and OG doesn't have to. But yeah, I know we should probably have 5 Josh Harts out there all the time. But my point is, I think OG's actually been pretty awesome as a rebounder. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not going to respond to that. Chris B says, for the Mitch trade talk, do you not feel like it's important to have a center of the defensive caliber and rebounding on the roster for games Cat struggles? Yeah, for sure. Like, but I don't. You have to, like, if they're not going to extend Mitch, and I don't know how you can extend Mitch considering the guy's never fucking healthy, so you can't depend on him. If you're not going to extend him, you got to use him as a trade chip and get in something. Now, maybe you'll come back down the line and you'll say, okay, well, you trade Mitch for, let's just say you trade him for a wing, a rotation caliber wing. Okay, well, that helped, but now we still need a defensive caliber, a good defensive big. I mean, this is kind of like the Precious question, right? Can Precious do that in lineups next to Cat? And I think he can.
Are you saying that if you made a trade with Mitch, you'd want a good defensive rebounder in return?
I'm saying that I think that's what he's saying that if we trade Mitch, don't you feel like that would be lacking on the roster? And I guess that might be, but I still think Precious is going to be. I think Precious will be fine.
Yeah, but I still feel like we're a good defensive rebounding team. I don't worry about that at all.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I mean, Cleveland got a good amount. They had 9. I know that doesn't include team rebounds. I think Allen had a lot of success. I think we're a good offensive rebounding team still, which is pretty important when you're talking about Mitch. I think Cat is a very good offensive rebounder. But do you have to bring? I think you'd want to bring. I just want someone else who can like eat up minutes there, even if it's like an Andre Drummond type. We can't obviously not going to trade for Andre Drummond, but just somebody who can eat some minutes there. I'm hoping Huck Porty can be that guy. And maybe that's something worthwhile figuring out before the trade deadline. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like if you're trading Mitch, but I will say the offensive rebounding concern and Hart and Mitch or Hart and Cat have kind of assuaged my concerns there because I think they're both really good offensive rebounders.
The Knicks had a 76.9 defensive rebound percentage against the Cavs, so pretty good.
Yeah, like defensive, like they just sucked at stopping Darius Garland more than anything. Like,
Which is something to keep an eye on because they obviously struggled at times tonight with Hero and Rozier. So,
yeah, like quicker guards. McCall's still running back into form, I think. I think for me, like I think Precious can do a lot of the defensive rebounding stuff. I think the question is really going to be like, where do you get like backup 3 minutes on this roster? And like, are you going to use Precious? Like, are you going to use Precious?
I think they'd use Dadier at the 3 before Precious. Like if you're talking about next to 2 other bigs, I don't know what kind of lineup
I'm talking about in terms of like, okay, rather like how do you soak minutes at the 4? Between like Hart, OG, like who's going to be like that third guy in the front court wing rotation, and you assume it's going to be Precious, but then it becomes like soaking minutes at center. It'll be weird. Like I do think they need another guy.
Yeah. It'll be difficult.
Would you be willing to trade Deuce for that guy? I'm emphatically at a no right now. Yeah,
They can't trade rotation players anymore.
They can't trade Deuce. Like they need Deuce scoring.
They
just can't trade rotation players. They can't combine rotation players to get an upgrade. They have to move on the fringes.
I mean, Payne is a rotation player, so I'd assume you trade Payne.
But like minimums aren't worth anything in trade. But like, yeah, if you can use Payne's salary to trade for something, then sure.
Yeah.
But like at this point, like the only reason why Mitch is a trade chip is because he's hurt and he's not in the rotation. So like you kind of need to. Ideally, you break Mitch into like 2 pieces. Legitimately, like he's ass, but like someone like Jabari Smith Jr. probably solves like a lot of.
Would you prefer
Eason? Would be good here.
He'd be good here, but it's like that kind of like that's what you're kind of looking for. Like
if you're trading with Houston, would you trade for Eason or Jabari Smith Jr.?
I'd trade for Eason, but I don't think you're getting Eason.
Actually, maybe Eason because he can do a lot of.
He
can do some of all the Josh Hart stuff, but I still think people are kind of like getting frustrated with. I think Jabari Smith Jr. once he gets away from, I was a 3rd overall pick, gets to a second team. I think people will be like, oh, actually, this is a good player. It's like, yeah, he's good. He just.
Is he then this generation's Marvin Williams? Maybe.
I think he'll be better. He's actually a pretty good rebounder.
Yeah, he's a good rebounder. Like he holds up as a shot blocker. He legitimately gives you a chance to like run a 5 out all the time on the court.
Yeah.
Like which is huge.
He's somebody I would be like pretty.
Well, why is Houston doing that? I guess Mitch doesn't fit with Sengun, right?
I don't think he fits.
It's unlikely you could get Jabari Smith because I think they'll end up using him in a package to get some star or whatever. That's their plan anyway. But he's somebody I would look. I'd keep.
I mean, I'd look at Charlotte as a team that maybe is a good Mitch fit. Mark Williams has a lot of injury issues. They look better than expected. I think they have a shot at the play-in, and Mitch would help them a lot, right? Giving them some interior defense.
Yeah, but they don't have any wings. Grant Williams.
Yeah, that would be the trade, Grant Williams.
Yeah, but I don't think Grant Williams could play the 5.
And Mark. Well, you'd ask them probably to throw in Mark. I think if they're.
I doubt they would throw in Mark though. I think they still value Mark, but like if he's going to be hurt for a prolonged period of time, then maybe you get into that situation. But I don't see it.
So I guess you wouldn't say they can give us Brandon Miller either.
No, unfortunately.
I think
illegitimately, like if the fucking Bucks were just like not serious, like someone like Bobby Portis would like make sense. Even though he's like bad defensively and kind of washed, like you kind of just want somebody to like soak minutes at the 4 and the 5. That's kind of my rationale. Where it's like, look, you could do a lot worse than Bobby Portis.
I mean, Aaron Gordon would be the ideal, right? But they're serious, so
yeah. Well, for now, they're serious. And plus that money that Aaron Gordon is being owed, no thank you. 4 years, 150 million, my fucking ass.
What did you think of the Heat players? I actually was reasonably impressed by Jovic. He's a lot stronger than I thought. He can knock down the three.
I'm a huge Drew Smith fan. After tonight's commentary, I really enjoyed Drew Smith. Honestly, like the Heat players are just they're all whack. Like they're whack. Like Jaime Jaquez is fucking whack. Like Drew,
if he
Duncan
injured
Robinson's
Brunson
whack.
too, my God, dude.
I don't.
Jaquez, keep that fucking guy away from the Knicks, man.
Please.
Well, he plays like Philip Seymour Hoffman along Kim Polly a little bit, like just very kind of fucking.
He's so annoying.
Like yeah,
low key. I'm thinking like Kevin Love. Something like Kevin Love would make like if you could get Kevin Love to play like 15 minutes a night, I would enjoy that.
He's a good defensive rebounder. Like
yeah,
why is Love hurt right now or something?
I think he's like away from team for something personal.
That hurt us because my thought was if you have Love playing the 5 against Hartenstein when we played them, that should be a win for us in the glass, and he held his own. And he can stretch you out, and he has obviously those outlet passes. Like I don't know if that's a thing anymore. It's been 2 years, but that actually he stretch you out.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were both laughing about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Kevin Love 2 years ago, I would agree with Tyrese.
I feel like Miami, they're always missing like 3 guys. Every time we play them, we're like, oh, this guy's out, this fucking guy.
Because it's a fucking sacrifice.
Yeah,
the hanging chads.
They're just I don't know that team. That was pretty that was pretty depressing. If I'm a Heat fan, they've looked
lifeless.
Their spark was like Duncan Rob. Like, all right, we really need a spark here late in the.
But they built a Dwayne Wade statue. Shouldn't that mean something? It's the most realistic statue I've ever seen.
It's a fucking Lawrence Fishburne statue. Okay. God, that thing looks horrid.
What if I told you you don't need your statue to look like it?
All right.
Yeah. So, all right. I think this is a pretty good place to end it. Unless there's anything else you guys wanted to discuss before we get out of here.
We could watch the last out of the Yankee season together if you guys would enjoy that.
Probably
great.
not. I have no desire to watch that with you.
Terry, are you from Queens?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I used to live in Kew Gardens. So.
I miss my glorious City Field every day.
No. Enjoy your great San Antonio, where you get to watch Wemby, most overrated player in the entire world currently.
Okay, Omar.
So
respect Wemby.
No, not gonna respect this fucking loser. Fuck him. He doesn't even like hearing Chet Holmgren's name. Shut up, dude.
I don't even know where that came from. Also, this game doesn't count. It's fine. Chris Paul is doing the heavy.
Oh, are they losing?
Yeah, they're losing.
All right. Okay. Shout out to everybody that rocked with us in the chat. That was awesome. Thank you for the super chats to everybody. Really, really appreciate it. All right. Next play Friday. They play the Pistons, who won today against the Sixers. So, and they've been competitive. I mean, they played the Celtics tight. Like they've been really competitive. So this is not a team the Knicks can overlook. Although
it's a real swing game with a swing state. So,
oh my God! All right, we're ending it here. Stacy, thank you. Tyrese, go fuck yourself. Everybody else, enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you to our sponsor, Bet Online, and we are out of here. Peace.
Go Dodgers.